He stared at Eliana Moray's back as she tensed, her hand lifting to rub the back of her neck. The muscles stiffened beneath her white lab coat as the scent of her irritation began to bloom around her. She was doing that a lot lately. As soon as he found the time, he would remind her who was the boss here. He didn't have time to engage in power plays with her. "I finished the tests." She picked up a folder, turned and strode to the counter beside him before slapping it down and returning to whatever she was working on before, completely ignoring both him and his bodyguard, Jackal. Silence filled the lab as Jonas stared at the file, quirking his brow at her obvious ill temper. Breed females didn't have PMS, so he couldn't explain her mood swings as well as he could those of the few non-breed females in the compound. He had decided months ago that Ellie was just contrary. He liked that about her, though. Sometimes. He understood it and could deal with it. But she was being unusually contrary, and that didn't set well with him. "Would you like to explain the tests you ran?" he finally asked her. "It's in the file." "I don't want to read your scientific gibberish." He allowed a primal growl to vibrate in his throat. "Tell me what I need to know." She turned back to him slowly, and he saw the anger burning in her eyes. "Your games are out of hand," she hissed, her gaze flickering nervously to Jackal. "Your manipulations and conniving machinations are going to get someone killed, and this conversation is none of his business." She pointed her finger at the bodyguard as her gaze snapped with ire. Jonas stared at her in surprise. Hell, he thought she liked Jackal. He rubbed at his chin thoughtfully as he tried to figure out what had her so incensed. He could only come up with one thing. "Are you still pissed over Dawn and Seth?" It was the only explanation he could find for her anger. He had ordered to have the hormonal treatments and Dawn's body leveled off when the mating hormone in Seth's system had begun disappearing. Dawn was losing her mate, and Jonas hadn't been willing to allow that to happen, no matter how much he disliked Seth Lawrence personally. But then, there were few men that Jonas liked. Hell, few people he could say he liked, period. The rest of that mission had gone to hell in a handbasket, though. He had succeeded in ensuring Dawn and Seth stayed together, but the blood that had been spilled was cause for concern. Ellie's lips pressed together in stubborn anger. Jonas breathed out in resignation, picked up the file, and opened it. Within seconds, his brows lifted and his gaze moved back to hers. "I thought the drugs the scientists gave him in the labs reversed this." "He hasn't been on the drugs in 7 years," she snapped. "And that isn't his actual state at the moment. That's what happened when I ran the mating test with that of Ms. Rodriguez." Now this was interesting. Jonas rubbed his jaw as he continued to read through the tests Ellie had run. The tests she had designed to determine mating compatibility were complicated. A mix of saliva, blood, and semen samples from the male, combined with saliva, blood, and female hormonal samples. "Jonas, he killed people when he rampaged in the labs," Ellie whispered worriedly. Jonas waved his hand at that. "He had lost his friend." "His mate," she snapped. "The mating hormone was in his blood. We've excused that episode the entire time he's been off the drug therapy because it was his mate. This woman is not his mate, and the feral adrenaline is there in his blood. He's going into feral displacement again, and you can't deny it. That report proves it." Her finger stabbed in the direction of the file. Jonas shook his head again as he continued through the report. She cursed. "Damn you! You think you know it all. I saw the videos of his rampage when he learned that Lioness had died. He killed a doctor, a trainer, and 2 of the coyotes that attempted to take him down. He was nearly rabid. If this woman is brought here, then he'll protect her with the same ferocity that he used when those bastards took someone he cared for." He snapped back at her. "This is not proof that he's returning to the feral state, and it's not proof that he will."